Hey, Battle Bill, here with another video, getting into some more Great League Remix Go Battle League battles for Season 11. And in today's video, we have another collection of my battles from the Twitch stream. The goal for this season is to make team comps that are both meta and competitive, and maybe the occasional off-meta team, along with, hey, Shoutcast link, submit your battles. If I'm back to being YouTube Bill, we got back-to-back uploads within a 24-hour-ish span of each other. I would love to shoutcast those two. But my goal is to improve my gameplay throughout the season, maybe compete for a leaderboard spot and prepare myself best for internationals. So a lot of the teams that I'll be doing on my Twitch stream and then shoutcasting on YouTube will be more of the meta variety with the occasional new move and updated move or spice pick through a shoutcast, or maybe spice pick I decide to do on my own. We'll see as the season progresses. But for now, we definitely have some unique picks that you don't see in open Great League battles between both Bewear and Noctowl. And as you'll notice right off the bat, Bewear is not running its community day move of Drain Punch. Great work, Niantic. Please update it for the next season. We're running Superpower and Stomp, not Payback, because Payback is too expensive of a move, and having Stomp to not debuff like Superpower does, and also have that stab, will prove extremely useful on this team comp. So I have a collection of 10 battles here, and I'm going to shoutcast them all as we jump into the video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's see just how well this team performed on my second day of Great League Remix battles. Also, as you'll notice, getting into this first match, you might have recognized that name. It jumped by real fast, but it's the Swag Tips, Ryan Swag, his YouTube channel. Shout out to him. Go to content creator and provide some of the best deep dives in the Pokemon Go community. We have quite the lead with Bewear against Diggersby. I didn't know exactly how this matchup went because I didn't know how well Bewear would handle Earthquake, and as you see, it does not handle it well. I go for the super effective superpower, and Swag Tips pulls off a solid swap to catch in this Noctowl, but Noctowl, being that normal flying type, takes neutral to the fighting damage, so it does help when I have to swap in my own Noctowl to play out this mirror. We can get a good energy advantage, build up to our first sky attack. This should take out the remainder of the health since he decided not to shield. And then the Swag Tips brings his iconic Pokemon in Dende to go up against my Noctowl, and it's like the battle of iconic mons. His Dende, and I have my Whiscash in the back. Perfect meta Great League Remix, allowing both of these mons to have success. Because typically I don't see Dende too much in open Great League, and Whiscash just gets outshined by its bigger brother in Swampert. So we bring in Whiscash here, expecting the play rough coming from Dende, and that's exactly what we get there. So huge shield on our part, so I decide to continue to overfarm, and now we're going to throw a Mud Bomb, which will then lead us to having another Mud Bomb stored, expecting the Diggersby to come back in, going for a huge super effective Blizzard to either do heavy damage or guarantee a shield. Gets the shield, swap back into Bewear, throwing the superpower immediately with the risk of potentially getting Mud Shot down, but we wanted to get that off and preserve the shield just on the off chance he does not throw a move or wants to throw a Fire Punch. So he ends up committing to a Mud Shot down after we got off both moves and have landed and gotten his last shield. We have his shield left, so at this point I call his bait after all the energy he generated. He would have needed both an EQ and a Fire Punch to land in order to win this, but I also had a shield, so it wasn't very likely for that to happen. He ends up baiting again, getting my last shield, but Mud Bomb will take out the Diggersby. But yes, I threw early there on purpose, just so I wasn't forced to use my last shield, just on the off chance he played his energy well, and I didn't want my Whiscash to have to get EQ'd and Fire Punched without having the potential shield to protect it. Getting to this next match, we have Bewear on Crustal, which is a positive lead because of Bewear's fighting typing. It resists all of Crustal's bug and rock type moves, so we can attempt a no shield here. Bewear, being super glassy, has taken rock throws and X scissors and has lost half its health, but at least Bewear has superpower to throw for neutral damage and hits quite hard. So we win the zero shield there pretty comfortably. They come in with a Charmer. We throw a Stomp just to buy us some time to think through what we want to do here, but we don't want to get charmed all the way down since Bewear has a little bit of health left and a little bit of residual energy. Might be able to use a superpower in endgame depending on whatever the third mon is. So we go into the safe swap of Whiscash. I like Whiscash as a safe swap very much in this meta, because I haven't seen too many grass types that truly wall it in the main meta. Sure, on my first day I ran to a couple of Lorantuses, but since then I have not seen them. So at this point we've used a shield to Sylveon had gotten to a size shock. We're over farming, gonna throw another Mud Bomb. This should get either the remainder or a good chunk of the Sylveon's health. And then their last mon is Stunfisk, so Whiscash is about to sweep. We're going to use our final shield here, building up to the Blizzard. Blizzard's not gonna one-shot the Stunfisk, but it's gonna put it low enough that we might not even have to reveal our last mon to our opponent. So we then swap into Bewear and look at that residual energy being clutch. I do really like Bewear's moveset of Shadow Claw and Superpower. Super high energy generation and spamminess of heavy hitting moves. Its issue is the difference between Stomp and Payback give good variety, but just aren't fantastic moves in Open Great League at the moment. And then also Bewear's normal typing does kind of set it back. If it was a pure fighter with Shadow Claw, that would really be some stuff. Getting into this next match, they Leaf Stormed and dipped, which I was not expecting. I shielded just because honestly even Ice Beam would have hit Bewear pretty hard, and then they swap out into Hypno, which is where we bring Noctowl. And since I've last been on YouTube, Noctowl has been buffed and now has access to a much better Ghost type move. Used to have Nightshade as its Ghost type move if you ever want to try to use Noctowl. Now it has Shadow Ball, which gives it legit play, especially in these situations against a Psychic type like Hypno. It also allows us to completely farm down with a bunch of energy for when the Ludicolo comes back in. So we throw a Sky Attack, hoping we can get off another wing attack to get to the Sky Attack, and we just fall to an invisible bubble that must have snuck through while we were throwing our first charge move. But not all is lost because we at least got a shield, and Bewear still has a bunch of energy from before. We throw a Stomp expecting them to shield, and they decided not to, and that ended up working out into our favor because our last mon is also weak to fighting. So since we didn't debuff ourselves, we can build up to 2 superpowers here, throw them back to back. They shield the first one, we're getting off the second one, still going to do heavy damage, about 60% of Dewgong's health, and then we can comfortably swap into Whiscash. So we're just going to Mud Bomb the heck out of its remaining health. Not use a single shield here though, just because that Ludicolo is still alive in the back, and on the off chance we are forced into a poor situation, the Ludicolo could land a grass move, one-shot Whiscash, and maybe Bewear doesn't survive fast moves. That's just the thought process. They then swap back into Ludicolo. They get to a charge move. We're going to let it come through. It ends up being an Ice Beam to take out our remaining health. But the reason why we did that is because we felt comfortable with Bewear taking this fast move damage as long as we had a shield, and that almost came back to bite us because between the bubbles and the ice shards, we almost got fast moved down with the shield. But thankfully, Bewear was able to get to the Stomp and just clutch in endgame. Getting into the next match, we don't have a positive lead here. Even though we're a fighter going up against a normal type of Vigoroth, we're taking super effective damage from their counters. So our main objective here is to get to 1 superpower, throw it, and dip the heck out into our safe swap with Whiscash. Unfortunately, they recognize that's our situation, and they decide to CMP tie us to force a shield back on our end. Even though Body Slam would not hit as hard as superpower would, because we're debuffed, it essentially would, even though one's neutral and the other one's super effective. We then go into our safe swap with Whiscash. They stay in, and again, Blizzard, better DPE. We land it, almost takes out the Vigoroth's remaining health, and then they decide to swap into their own Mandibuzz. We're going to let this charge move come through, hoping it was a foul play. It unfortunately was a Dark Pulse, which is a huge difference maker here, because if it was a foul play, we would have gotten to the Blizzard, potentially would have gotten their last shield, or did a huge chunk of damage to their Mandibuzz. But instead, because it was Dark Pulse, we did not have enough health to build up the energy to a Blizzard, so we're forced to throw a Mud Bomb that did not get the shield, and then they take us out. We go into Noctowl. This is not a favorable situation for us, but we're going to try to make the most of it by building up over almost to 2 Sky Attacks. We land one of them, getting off another charge move here. I'm thinking in the back of my mind that essentially Bewear is going to have to be our saving grace, even though it doesn't have that great matchup against the Vigoroth. The Vigoroth's almost dead, so hopefully we can Shadow Claw down, and whatever remaining health Bewear will have after the fact will pay off to whatever their third mon is. But then we end up using the shield here because we felt like we can farm down. So we had a quick change of heart. They come in with the Vigoroth, and here's a throw on my part. I was concerned the counter damage was going to add up and we would not be able to wing attack down. So I throw a Sky Attack, and that Sky Attack damage ends up being crucial because we throw a Stomp here, which gets their shields. And with all the fast attack damage that we're dealing, we potentially could have taken out a Shadow Golbat with Sky Attack. But at this point, we are short, and we just get wing attack down by their Golbat. Would have been a close match regardless, but unfortunately could not play it optimally to find out how close it would have been. Getting to the next match, we have another Bewear on Diggersby matchup. Our goal is going to be the same thing, but they decide to swap into Crobat. And again, since I'm using a new team for the second day in a row, I'm not quite comfortable with it at this point. So I decided to build up to the Stomp and throw it. Then I swap into Noctowl, recognizing, all right, the only thing this thing can do is throw poison moves. They happen to throw cross poison, which is not the ideal charge move to be running on Crobat because it does also have access to Poison Fang. Poison Fang guarantees a debuff, whereas Cross Poison only has a chance of a buff. So because of that play on their end, we're able to just completely farm down their Crobat, fully expecting their other Mon to come back in their lead, which was the Diggersby, and it did not come in. Because if anything, Diggersby could have Fire Punched us down. Instead, they decided to come into the Pelipper, which is better for us because, as you saw in the last video, Whiscash doesn't play that well against Pelipper, and then we're also running a fighter. So I have a knack for making team comps that are really weak to Pelipper in this meta so far, but I think we're going to be able to handle it just considering the fact that they made their Pelipper eat a bunch of energy when they should not have. Bewear gets to the Stomp, forces the Pelipper's last shield. We're hoping to just get to another Stomp in time before they fast move us down, but then they pull an insane swap to catch the Stomp on their Diggersby, hoping that the Mud Shots wouldn't do enough damage and we'd be able to get to a superpower. We unfortunately were not able to, so we got to go into Whiscash and either call a bait or call the EQ. We shield here, call the EQ, huge call, because now we want to throw this Blizzard before they can get off another charge move. Knowing that they just threw an EQ means we can over farm in this situation, land the Blizzard, Pelipper comes back in, probably could like double Mud Bomb or even single Mud Bomb and get it low enough, but we're just going to go for the overkill to guarantee our win here, landing the neutral Blizzard on the Water Flying type Pelipper to win this match. So it ends up being a GG. Again, nice alignment. Diggersbys are all over the remix meta, and this team performs really well against it. Honestly, not a single negative matchup out of all 3 Mons. Getting to this next match, we don't have a great matchup again with Bewear going up against Tropius being a flyer, and also their Tropius is not running Razor Leaf, it's running Air Slash, which is super effective. So we're essentially just going to sack our Bewear in this matchup, hoping we can get off 2 charge moves. Unfortunately, we just fall short because our only answer for Tropius in this team of 3 is the Noctowl, and we were hoping they wouldn't recognize the fact that we just completely sacrificed our Bewear, and we were just hoping to farm down. They recognized that play on our end and decided to swap out, so very well done on their end. We're just going to overfarm as much as possible here, let them get off charge moves because they're throwing pretty quick, so we know they're going to be resisted weather balls, so we're not all that concerned about the damage we're going to take, also knowing that Whiscash is essentially going to be fodder to the Tropius when it comes back in. We just want to leave the situation with as much energy as possible to get off a Blizzard. They come in though with the energy that they have, and the energy that they have is enough to throw a Leaf Blade, get our shield, but we still get off a Blizzard, and they let their Tropius go down, which I guess seemed huge to me because like Whiscash taking out Tropius is crazy, but it makes sense considering the situation that our Noctowl was still alive and was going to perform really well against a Tropius. But their last Mon ends up being another fire type, and it's a goddamn Marowak that landed a Fire Blast. I remember streaming this battle being a complete shock. I'm like, there's no way you're running Fire Spin Shadow Marowak with Fire Blast. But we also recognize that Whiscash had enough health, and if we saved it the shield, it would still be able to Mud Bomb, because typically Noctowl has a really great matchup against Marowak because it would resist all the other charge moves that Marowak typically throws, being Shadow Bone or Bone Club, but they build up so much energy. I really didn't think they'd have the audacity to run Fire Blast, and they did, so props to them, but we still took the match. Also, I apologize, I seem a little distracted. I'm recording this late at night, and my cat was sleeping. My new kitten, his name is Moki. He was sleeping, and just as I started recording, he decided he wanted to wake up, and it's like 2 in the morning, and not ideal. He was also playing with my feet. Sorry, it's interrupting all shoutcasting content for this current battle, but if you want to see more cat content, by all means check out the Twitch. He appears there. Maybe I'll throw him on stream or get a cat cam. I can pull up the old Caleb Payne. Anyhow, let's get back into this matchup. I don't know where we're at. All I know is Noctowl is eating a weather ball there. They swap into Frostlass, and I make a bit of a misplay here, knowing that they have to build up to 6 to get off an Avalanche. I could have thrown the Sky Attack to get a little bit of trip damage off on Frostlass to then farm down with Bewear, but instead I go for the whole kit and caboodle and try to get off a Shadow Ball, which kind of bites me because now I can't farm down with Bewear. I'm forced to shield this move and hope that I can still farm down, but then they're running Crunch Avalanche Frostlass, and as much as I see that as a ridiculous moveset to be running, it worked out perfectly because they knew I was going to shield, and they got a debuff on my Bewear because of it. So shout out to them for that spiciness, because that was pretty crazy. And then they come in with their own Whiscash. We superpower and hope to dip. We've gotten their Whiscash low enough that we just want to go straight Mud Bomb here. They have a shield. We're hoping to spam enough. And the only thing we're concerned about is how much damage their Whiscash's Blizzard is going to do to us. It does a good chunk. We really want to outpace. We're actually lower in health. They still have the Ninetales alive, and we don't want to take any potential Psyshock damage. I don't think this was the Ninetales from the previous match, right? This is our second Ninetales in a row. So we don't know what their full moveset was. The recommended moveset in Great League Remix is Weather Ball and Overheat, but just on the off chance, we kind of lost track of their energy, so we needed to throw, and thankfully we were able to get off that Blizzard for a little bit of overkill, but it guaranteed our dub. Getting into this next matchup, we have quite the matchup between Bewear and Shadow Scizor. As much as I respect my opponent's Spice option here, it is not going to play well against Bewear, and neither is their safe swap of Shadow Amistar. So essentially double weak to fighting. Yes, Scizor has a Bug Steel typing, so not technically weak to fighting, but it was not gonna survive a fighting move, I'll tell you that much. Then they swap in a Rock type that was definitely not surviving a fighting move, whether it was the first superpower or the second one. We get both their shields. We safe swap into Whiscash. They're not even running Rock Slide, they're running Rock Blast, which is going to be resisted, which means Whiscash can just essentially feast in this matchup. So we're over farming like crazy. We have shield advantage. At this point, I kind of already knew this match was a win, but I was curious to see whatever their third mon was they decided to pair with this double Shadow strat. I respect it. Took out the Amistar, going for another Mud Bomb here. Gonna almost take out the Scizor, get a little bit more farm, and we're waiting to see their last mon. Ends up being a Shadow Politoed. So I respect the triple Shadow strat, but it's not going to work out for them just considering our shield advantage. We're going to come in with Noctowl here. Technically speaking, the Noctowl Politoed matchup isn't super straightforward because Politoed could land the Blizzard, but in that situation, we had a Noctowl with 2 shields, so they would have had to double bait and land the Blizzard, and by the time they did all that, we were going to win regardless. Getting into the next match, we have Bewear against Mandibuzz. This is a weird matchup because, like, Bewear is a fighter against a dark type, which usually is good, but then Mandibuzz is also a flyer against the fighter, and that's not typically as good. So we want to just superpower it and dip, save swap in the Noctowl here because Whiscash does not have a great matchup against Mandibuzz, based on the fact that it's super reliant on Blizzard landing, and that's super expensive and takes forever to get to, and a Mud Bomb bait being called could be detrimental to any match. Our opponents decide to stay in here in this Mandibuzz and Noctowl matchup, so we're assuming their backline is pretty weak to Noctowl, so I thought I committed the shield here. Oh no, I knew I'd survive, so I decide not to shield there, hoping to overfarm just enough and throw. I screw up, overfarm too much, so now I'm going to make a bit of a commit, seeing that their Mandibuzz's health is lower. We shield their foul play and commit to a farm down. They now come into a Vigoroth. Hopefully the counter did not sneak through, which means we'd be able to get off 2 Sky Attacks here, which is super ideal if we want to try and win this match. But again, Vigoroth is still tough for us to deal with because we cannot bring in Bewear as much as we really want to land the superpower on it. So we come straight into Whiscash. Then they come into Leap, and I make a misplay here. We can't leave Whiscash in this matchup because it's a grass rock type that we're going up against. They end up throwing that move because also this is a Legacy Leap. Like, respect to this. You can only get this for a limited time. It's not even Elite TMable. Niantic made a mistake, and that mistake was allowing a Leap to get Bullet Seed. It's not supposed to have it, and they never fixed it. I don't know what the logic was on that, but here's our mistake in this matchup. Superpower doesn't kill, and I was assuming they had way more energy than they had, so I throw back-to-back moves, and if I wanted to have any kind of win con there, I could not do that. I needed to throw the superpower, commit to the Shadow Claw down, hope Bewear, even though debuff, doesn't get Bullet Seeded down, throw a superpower at the Vigoroth, and then throw Whiscash's moves at this Vigoroth here. Because the superpower would have gotten the last shield on the Vigoroth, and then we just would have Blizzarded it, and it would have taken it out, and we would have won the match. Unfortunately, we were unable to take this one because of that misplay. But hindsight's 2020. Again, our first ranked season back. We really want to try, learn from these matches, and improve as much as possible. And there's going to be plenty of mistakes along the way. Getting to this next match, we have what technically appears as a positive lead to our opponent, so they swap out, but they don't recognize that we're not running Payback. So thankfully, we didn't just immediately swap out of concern that their Cough Egregious would be running Psychic, and they decide to shield based on that. So Whiscash comes in, and we're going to stay in this Bewear Whiscash matchup. And this is where we really like to have Stomp, because we're able to spam these Stomps for some like neutral body slam type damage charge moves. and we don't have to debuff ourselves like Superpower would, and Payback would have also been super expensive. The opponent goes for Blizzard there. We were not expecting that, which then takes out our Bewear's remaining health. We do come in with Whiscash and Mudshot completely down, and their last mon is a Ferrothorn. So that's not a great matchup for our Whiscash. So it would have been nice if we would have called that Blizzard on the Bewear, because having potential fighting damage for their steel type Ferrothorn would have been great. We try to catch, but we do not successfully catch. They're running Thunder on their Ferrothorn, and then they come back in with the Cough Egregious. Because they have a shield, this isn't super ideal. Them having Dark Pulse also explains why they swapped out that lead matchup, because they don't have Psychic, and if they have Dark Pulse and Shadow Ball, we are either single resisting or double resisting any charge moves they decide to throw. We end up landing the Shadow Ball on their Cough Egregious there to take it out. We build up to the Sky Attack, but our opponent plays this really well. They recognize how low our Noctowl's health is, so they essentially build up the 2 Power Whips, land 1. I'm hoping I can get to the Mud Bomb, because it would have done the Ferrothorn's remaining health, but because they played so well, they made sure they were close enough to the next Power Whip, which then one-shots Whiscash's remaining health, and we lose the final match of this collection of battles. But overall, these were some really well-played matches between myself and the opponents, some very legitimate Great League Remix matches and some Go Battle League battles, and I thoroughly enjoyed how well this team played. So if you want to try to get use out of your non-Community Day Bewears that you probably got from Community Day, but you don't want the Community Day move on, that's a mind trip. I thoroughly and highly recommend this team comp. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section below. Not too much of a straightforward weakness between all 3 mons, and this cat is getting super distracting at this point. He's now playing with the ball. I don't even know if that's being picked up by the mic, but I'm gonna try my best not to ramble. Either way, I want to hear your thoughts. Please let me know in the comment section below, and also let me know how I've been doing with like commentating and whatnot, talking over the battles. I think I got a little messed up throughout this because this little guy, get over here. Never mind, I was gonna go and grab him, has been distracting me for the latter half of this video. But if there's anything about the style of the way I'm shoutcasting, please give me constructive criticism. I'm open to it. I want to come back onto the scene, and I want to do the best job that I can, and I want to figure out where I'm doing well with commentating and where I'm not doing so well. And any feedback is appreciated. And overall, if I'm going to continue to put out this content, I would like to see, you can see him back there, I would like to improve it as much as possible. But again, let me know your thoughts on the battles and everything else. Thank you so much for watching. It was super appreciated. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm not going to recommend the unsubscribe and resubscribe, because most of y'all that saw the first video are probably watching this one too. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, and I will see you all in the next video for some more Go Battle League battles. Preach!